So it looks real, right? Like some shot you'd see in a movie, but would you believe me if I told you this was made with AI? And so is this shot, and this shot, and even this shot. It all looks real, right? Which is the point, but none of these shots are actually filmed by people, or at least not authentically anyway. But let me explain. If you don't know by now, recently OpenAI announced their new text-to-video model called SORA. And similar to the other AI generative models we've seen, it's prompt-based. So with this, you just type in what you wanted to make, and it gives you a video clip of the exact thing you wanted. And with tech like this, the sky is the limit pretty much, because it can pretty much make anything. And it went crazy viral on Twitter this past week, because even though we've seen text to video AI like this before, nothing we've seen before looked as good as SORA. SORA is seemingly just built different. And if you look at this example I'll put on the screen here and compare it to one of the earliest Stable Diffusion generations of the iconic Will Smith eating spaghetti clip, you can see why SORA is going viral right now. Okay, I'm just kidding. That's not actually SORA. That's just actually Will Smith chowing down. But when you actually compare SORA to the other video models we've seen, so for example, again, Pika Labs and Runway, you can see that SORA takes a huge step forward in generative AI and looks amazing in comparison. And the scary part is, it actually looks real. Just look at this shot, for example, which in my opinion was actually one of the best clips they showcased so far. Since it's a close-up of a woman's eyeball, this shot showcases how detail-oriented SORA really is. The skin has all the pores, there's wrinkles where you'd expect them to be. The eye itself actually has minute detail that's there in real life. It's all there. And here's another example of a young black guy reading in the clouds, which is just the second of many examples they showcased on their SORA website, by the way. At first glance, this definitely passes the realism test, right? That is indeed a guy reading a book in the clouds. And yet again, what blows me away is the detail on the actual guy. The hair he has every strand you expect him to have. His facial structure is well constructed and he looks exactly like a human. And what's crazy is this exact guy doesn't even actually exist. The AI model just pulls details from other pictures of other similar looking black guys and other photos. If you look closely, the video isn't perfect, right? When you pay attention to the actual nature of the clip and like some of the details surrounding him, like for example, if you look at the actual motion of him and even the way the book flips, they both look unnatural. And you know, even if you look at his facial expression, something's just off. And then I ended up running the exact prompt word for word through both Pika Labs and Runway, and the results weren't nearly as good, like not even close. When you put all of these side by side based on fidelity and realism, you can quickly see which one would take the gold. I didn't do it for just this prompt. I did it for quite a few. I also ran ships inside of a coffee prompt and SORA wins that one by miles. I also ran this prompt of a lady walking through Tokyo. SORA's shot looks great, and as long as you don't look at the people in the background, this clip will probably fool a lot of people into thinking it's a real or like a shot from a movie or something. Running that same exact prompt from Runway and Pika, both consumer already released video generation AI models, they just gave me both. With all I've shown you, it's clear that SORA is a huge leap forward in AI video generation, but the results are scary. With how fast fake AI videos are progressing and with how close they are to looking like real authentic videos, what does this really mean for the future? Part of the reason SORA is going viral online is because people are scared. Specifically, you know, content creators, filmmakers, artists of the like, because if these shots look like what we as artists produce, but AI's making it in the fraction of a time just as good of quality, we all might be out of a job soon. Even Mr. YouTube himself seems to be concerned, at least a little bit, but allow me to put a bit of a different perspective out there. Just follow me for a bit, just follow me, okay? I understand the fear mongering right now, but I truly don't think this tech will be as detrimental to our art industries as we think. At least not right now. Don't get me wrong, all of the shots from Sora look good. I mean, you can even look on the screen behind me. When you consider how much better it'll be in the future from here and how fast this tech is developing, it's easy to see how we'll soon live in a world where all of the videos we see online will be fake. But that's just it. That's just one side of the coin. There's also more useful and positive ways AI can help filmmakers and artists of the like instead of replacing us. For example, if you don't believe me, for example, and this is actually an idea that came from MKBHD, imagine generative video AI being
perfect for stock footage.
Which, in my opinion, would actually be perfect. As in, if you need like a quick shot of a mountain or a truck driving in a mountain to just quickly put in a documentary or something, and you can get that without having to pay the really high prices on some of these stock photo and stock video sites, or even the high price that comes with just setting up a quick pickup shoot, Sora actually might be a free or at least cheaper alternative to that problem. And not to mention, probably a more flexible one. And I'm not even gonna lie, those stock video sites are like mad expensive nowadays. Or even if you need some quick surrealist visuals, like turning New York into the real life version of Southside Reef from Shark Tale, you can without learning how to do the VFX yourself. But with that said, right? Personally, I would only use this type of technology sparingly, even in those scenarios, which leads me to my next point as to why I'm not too worried about having our movies and favorite shows being overrun by AI. Even with this huge Sora leap, the content of the clips, every single one of them, every single one you're seeing on the screen, the content of it is just all so lifeless. That's my biggest critique. With Sora, with Runway, with Pika Labs, Stable Diffusion, with all of them. This tweet I'll put on the screen here kind of sums it up the best.
Where's the love?
The biggest problem with a lot of these clips is that yes, although they look super realistic and cool and will fool a lot of people into thinking it was real and authentic, barely anything is happening in any of the clips that we're seeing. All I'm seeing now is walking and a guy reading a book. Like, that's nice, right? But you can't make a 2-hour movie with just that. These generated clips are usually super inactive, and to be honest, there's usually nothing interesting about like half of them, or almost all of them really. The only interesting bits of each of these clips are the tech behind them and the story surrounding them, and the fact that they're causing online discourse. The actual clips themselves aren't anything we can connect to, and that's actually a problem for it. And what makes art interesting and valuable is the connection we have to it, right? To every art piece that we like and even dislike, we grow some sort of attachment to it, some sort of like emotion. That's where the value of art comes from. Think about your favorite movies or your favorite song, for example. It claimed that top spot because of the way you connected to it, right? Whether it's you resonating with the lyrics or you relating to the story, or maybe you just simply like the jaw-dropping action of that favorite movie that you have, but you compare it to these AI generations that are coming out now, and you'll feel the void that comes from these clips, even if they look realistic. I don't know if any of you know this out there, but there is an AI film festival that happens every so often that I see on YouTube. So it's basically an online film fest where the films use AI clips. I'll throw up an example of an AI short film now. No diss to the filmmaker who made this, by the way. I'm sure you're awesome. But personally, with these AI films, this one and all the other ones out there, there's absolutely nothing I could connect to with any of them. It's completely lifeless. And even if you were to add AI generated dramatic voiceover or dramatic cinematic music, nothing is happening here. It's all just, again, lifeless. So Peter Ramsey's tweet, he's the co-director of Spider-Verse 1, put it best with his tweet when he's replying to an AI movie trailer that he saw on Twitter. Basically just one of the Sora clips with a voiceover on top that's also AI, right?
Secret thrives, concealed from the eyes of muggles. The goddess Sora has bestowed upon this town a portal to a hidden Atlantis.
And even though it's similar to what we see in real life trailers, it's missing literally the most fucking important part, a fucking story. You told no story, giving us, again, anything to grab onto. All you made in 15 minutes was a video clip. And that's because AI video generation struggle to recreate that emotional connection we tend to get with authentic art. Not to mention that connection sometimes can come from the actual artist behind the art themselves. Like in the case of like Van Gogh or Banksy. When the artist is just a bunch of ones and zeros, it completely nullifies that concept, right? And it's because of that idea right there. I think there'll always be a lane for authentic art. That connection isn't something AI can recreate, at least for now, and definitely not without human input. Even with that said, I don't think the public is overreacting to this AI leap at all. Even in Hollywood, they were already playing around with the idea of creating these AI doubles for actors and actresses to scan, and now they own their digital likeness to use forever, and all they had to do is pay that actress or actor once. That's a problem. Hollywood using AIs in actual ethical ways, that's fine. Fun fact, AI was actually used in the animating workflow for Spider-Verse.
The effects team created a whole machine learning process to track a library of hand-drawn lines.
They also use AI in their animation workflow for the Christmas movie Klaus, not to generate the whole movie like in these film fests, but to help get their lighting style. They used AI to create that consistency and just help them with their workflow.
The software tracks movement of the characters so the light and shadows will move with it.
Again, neither of these movies use AI to create the entire movie or the entire shots for them. They just use it to make their workflows easier. That's it. They can spend more time on the creative aspect instead of the mundane task that comes with animating nowadays. Perfectly fine, in my opinion, and completely different than the daunting generative AI that we're seeing online. Some more examples of ethical AI use. I don't know, like using it to upscale and denoise your video footage you already shot authentically, like Topaz Labs does. Or helping you get more frame rate in your video games on PC gaming, like NVIDIA helps you do. Or even helping you with altering your photos, like in Photoshop. All of these, in my opinion, are okay uses of AI, some of which can help you solve some major problems in your next project. It's all a balance.
Balance.
Using AI out of laziness is where the problem actually starts. So like right now, AI is in an ethical gray area. Some use cases are cool, but at least when it comes to generating videos out of thin air, seemingly, I genuinely think until the tech starts proving that it could generate some shots and make us give a damn about it, I think we're safe. At least for now. So in my opinion, SORA and AI tools like it should be seen as tools to enhance your art and film projects, not to replace you and make them for you. I think the replacement narrative becomes a fear-mongering slippery slope, especially when you consider that AI still can't produce perfect results right now. But if you scroll down on the website, it doesn't shy away from showcasing its weaknesses as well in some of the clips that just look kind of odd. If you can find ways to set your fears aside just for a little bit and look at these AI models more as tools instead of replacing you, I think that's the best way to optimize this tech. For example, the way I'll personally be doing that is to use it to help me animate a 3D short film. And the key word is help, not make it for me, just help, just sprinkling a little into my workflow to spend more time on the creativity. Come back if you want to see how that turns out. I want to leave with this, AI is in our future. It's not going to stop, but I'm not here to try to convince you that it won't impact the art and film industry. It definitely will. What I wanted to do with this video is offer a new perspective. It's okay to be scared because we don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes, like at all. But at least while we can, I think we should try a little bit of a paradigm shift and try to use these tools to our benefit for the time being. There's no doubt once SORA releases, there'll be a huge wave of misinformation and harmful impact this tech will enact on society. But we have to remember, these developers are only making this to help, not to hurt. So why not at least try to use it as if it did just that? As it stands right now today, AI isn't here to replace. It's here to enhance. But if one day it gets so good that it does replace us, that's when I think the pitchforks and the torches are warranted. But until then, let's just keep creating.